With my solitary bunker base being so liked by the Rust community, I got hundreds of comments from you guys asking for an expansion. Now with not only Blueprint, but also Willjum using my base in his last solo video, I know you guys love this design. And better yet, this expansion not only makes the base stronger, but also foolproof, as I introduce my new floor stack method, which is significantly faster and easy for anyone, including those of you on console. Although it's built from a 2x1, this base is extremely spacious once completed, and of course I had to implement the same double bunker mechanism I used in the original base. Any side of the core is a 27 rocket raid, and it houses 17 large boxes of storage. It's strong in both online and offline raids, built for a solo, duo, or trio group. This is the Solitary 2. Now onto the base tour. So stick around for just a minute and let me show you all the hidden features I've implemented into this design. We enter through a basic 2-door airlock, which leads us to a window room. Through a couple more garage doors on our right, we'll enter the upstairs core. On these two squares, I've added a locker and some extra beds, and in the honeycomb, we have a small loot room with our battery tucked away behind. You'll want to stick around and see the core and bunker mechanism of this base, but first let's head upstairs so I can show you the insane peak downs and roof floor. Up here we have an optional auto turret to guard our drop down, and we have a few more doors leading to outside, also providing you with an airlock. The roof is comprised of plenty of different angles and peak downs, guaranteeing you the upper hand in a fight. I do not condone roof camping, but I mean hey, if they're at your door, then... Also up here on the roof, we have a vending machine which can only be accessed with TC privilege. The other side of the base is an exact replica with more peak downs and floor stack gaps. Now back downstairs, this last garage door will lead us to our workbench, and through a couple more doors, finally our double bunker. We won't be able to go much further from here, so let's spawn downstairs in one of our core bags. Opening the bunker is super easy. All you have to do is remove this glass window and break out the twig in our loot room. Once broken, both the roof and floor tile will lose stability and fall. And to replace it, build in that same twig, head to the top of the drop down, place in a floor tile, upgrade, and then place in a triangle roof above. Continuing the tour of our core, through the first garage door, we have a 4-box loot room which can easily be subbed out if you need more bags. You have a second loot room on the left, and behind your main door, we have 5 large boxes and our TC. The upkeep of which is on your screen now, and also all the build info is in the description if you need it. Now enough with the base tour, let's get into my new floor stack method to stack perfectly every time. We'll start with 3 square foundations, then pick a side and place a low wall and a ramp. And this may seem a little strange, but just wait. On the other side, place in a square roof just like this. Next, on the low side of our roof, walk up the ramp and place a small box flush with the back low wall. Then another small box flush with the first. Now while crouching, push yourself into the small box and hold Alt. Place your first foundation at the top, move down the ramp with D, and place in your second when you hit the roof. I recommend still testing it, and you should have no gap in between these 2 walls. If you do happen to have a gap, or you see it comes up red, you've misplaced your boxes, so make sure you go back and try to get them even more flush with the low wall. But because of how consistent this method is, more often than not you'll get this right, and now just watch how easy it is to build the starter. I'm only going to be using the squares, so we'll upgrade those and demolish the triangles when we have a chance. Seal in this 1x1 section for our TC, and add in doorways on the right and left. It's fine to use wooden doors for now if you don't have the metal frags, but try to upgrade these as soon as possible. Your TC will go in the right side corner, just like this. Also, if you have a second, head down to the comments and tell me what you'd like to see next. I try to read all of them, and I'd love some more inspiration for future videos. And we're getting close on 25k, so if you want to sub, that would be awesome too. Unconnected foundations will eventually decay, so we'll add in a full wall to keep it connected to the rest of the base. And at this point, your tier 1 starter is finished. On the same side, we'll add a little more protection to the 2x1 with 3 triangle foundations, and we'll seal it in. Let's create some shelves for our boxes. Next, before our base gets too big, we need to add another floor stack foundation on the other side of the base. So build along with me and copy these foundations to get it across. If you're struggling to follow, I'll also give you a top-down view in just a second. And we're only going to need that last foundation, so you can demolish the rest of the twig that we just placed. And just like the other side, we'll connect this foundation to the base with a full wall. Our door path is currently looking weak, so let's expand it. Place a wall frame not on the first, but the second triangle in, and seal it with walls. I'll leave the triangle above our head as wood, as we're going to end up picking it out for the drop down later on. Something to remember, you're going to place window frames in both of these two slots, so make sure they stay empty as you live out of the starter. This is how I recommend placing your deployables as you progress, but feel free to customize it to your own liking. I like to place my starter workbench on this back wall, and make sure you get metal cooking up in these furnaces as soon as possible. This is the stage 2 starter base complete. On the door side for stage 3, we'll begin by placing these foundations, which will allow us to honeycomb the middle triangle. We'll also build in this jump up to our roof using a floor tile, which will come in handy later on. Then I'll repeat the same steps on the other side of the base, using the same triangle and square foundation to honeycomb. Once you've completed all of these steps, we're ready to seal ourselves in and build in the drop down. Now I want to mention I'm going to save all the core upgrades for a specific timestamp in the video, so I won't come back down here until the end. If you want to upgrade any of the core, here's the time to skip to now. And continue your door path through the triangles for more added protection. Then let's seal in the top of the honeycomb, but this is very important. You're going to need both layers of the floor stack on the side closer to your door, and on the opposite side, only place the upper level of the floor stack. You can seal it in with walls, and it's very important that we only place the upper section, as this will deal with stability later on for our bunker. To save some time, I'll skip showing you all the upgrades, but we're going to upgrade the entire core, including foundations, walls, and roof pieces to metal. And after that's done, we'll begin working on the second floor. Now here's the loot room design that I've created for the build, but if you have a specific one in mind that you'd like to try, feel free to customize it to your own liking. This expansion of the base is now complete, and we can move on to honeycomb our downstairs core. The honeycombing for the core needs to be done a very specific way, so make sure you copy me exactly, building off the right side lower square foundations. However, on the left side here, we'll build in an upper floor stack square like this. Then let's seal in this square by adding walls on both sides. You can just do stone for now, and when you add in the roof, make sure it's on the lower level of the stack and upgrade it to metal. Then once again, repeat the same thing on the other side of the base. Don't forget to start off the right side foundations. Heading around your base, you'll see 4 of these open triangles, 2 with and 2 without foundations. Honeycomb all of them with metal, and make sure the roof tile is on the lower end of the floor stack. And since we just sealed in our last jump up to the roof, we're building a new one with this square roof tile. But we're going to want to expand this soon, so we get an airlock. Start by upgrading the honeycomb to metal. You can then place a wall on top of it on the left side, and our window room will be on the right. For the roof pieces, placing your first triangle on the lower section of the floor stack, and your other two roof pieces will be on the upper level. And if you're using a garage door here, place the roller facing inward towards the windows so it can't be seen from your roof. And with our airlock expansion now finished, we're ready for roof access. Use 1 or 2 furnaces as a jump up. I'm sure you could have guessed what I'm gonna say, but as always, place your triangle frames on the lower level of the stack, and the same will go for our roof piece above. Finally, let's do some expanding on the inside, starting with our second floor, replacing all the double doors for garage doors. When placing these doors, be mindful of which way your roller is facing, as sometimes a raider can splash it if it's seen outside your base. Then let's do some core upgrades, and for your convenience, I've done this all in the most important upgrade order, so you should follow me throughout your wipe as you get more resources. As you can see, I've removed the workbench, bags, furnace, and a few extra boxes to reach everything for the upgrades. Our very first step will be to upgrade all of the foundations in here to metal. Then upgrade the back wall of your TC to armored and the side walls to metal. Another super important upgrade is to get this back wall in your loop rooms upgraded to armored, and you'll see why in just a second. This side on the right will also be a loop room, so we can fill that in, and notice that I'm upgrading the shelf tiles straight to metal, as well as all of the frames in our core. If you haven't already, upgrade the left side floor tiles to metal, and then you can replace the box in this loop room, and finally we can seal it off. Hence the reason for upgrading that back wall to armored, since we won't be able to reach it once these window frames are in place. Then we'll floor stack the core, starting with our TC room. You'll notice that we can't place these triangles through the window, but we can place them through the wall. You'll see them peeking out in the back of the loop rooms, then continue to floor stack in this order. Upgrade any floor tiles not in a loop room to armored, and obviously the loop room tiles can just be upgraded to metal. On the right side loop room, don't forget you need an open space for your twig to seal the bunker, so don't floor stack that. Then for the expensive part. Again, this doesn't have to be all done in one step, you can do this throughout the wipe as you gather more HQM. If you want a 4-box loop room in the center of this second square, you can do so with a campfire in the middle like this. And if you're a duo, you can place your 2 bags on either side with the furnaces, and if you're a trio, simply remove one of these middle boxes and replace it for the bag. You can now completely seal off your base with either a single seal bunker from inside, or if you want to double seal it, place it from upstairs. Now this isn't necessary since our twig is hidden in the loop room, but if you really want to guarantee the raider has to go through the bunker, you can upgrade the roof tile above your twig. The second floor honeycomb is so easy to explain. If you see a triangle, you're going to honeycomb it in metal, and if you see a square, you'll use stone. For some added protection to the drop-down bunker, we'll upgrade these 3 triangles to the left of our door to metal. Then we'll do some more honeycombing off the back side of the base, starting with the drop-down chute from the roof. Just don't forget to also upgrade it to metal on the bottom floor. On the opposite end of the base, to the left of our window room, we'll do the same thing on this side with 4 more walls and a roof. Now we're still missing 3 of our roof ramps around the build, so let's add those in, and don't forget to place in the walls on the sides. Again, to save time, I'll skip through showing you this, but I'm going to upgrade all of the outside foundations to metal. And I'm also going to upgrade these stone 1x1s on the outside of the base to metal as well. Don't forget to upgrade the tops. Let's also increase the top-down raid cost with a simple roof access. I like to face the double doors inward so they create a basic airlock, and don't forget to place all your garage door rollers facing into the square as well to stop them being seen from outside. Now let's transition into some second floor upgrades, starting with the jump up to our roof. In here you're going to do all of the floor tiles and all of the walls you see that are stone. Now remember, we're going to floor stack this room later on, so minus this roof tile, I recommend leaving all the other roof pieces as stone to bait someone raiding us top down. Alright, with that finished, let's floor stack the second floor, starting with this frame and the drop down to the roof. I'll build the rest in twigs so it's easy to see, and you'll notice I'm going to need to remove these garage doors in the door path, as you won't be able to place in triangle pieces if they're in there. Now obviously there's a lot of room in here for you to do whatever you want, but here's where I place all of my deployables. Just for a quick roof camp kit or some depot storage, I like to place 4 small boxes along this window. And if you want an auto turret placed in your drop down, here's how to build in the twig to get it there. At this point, the main base itself is finished. All we have to do is add in our peak downs. I'll be building the roof floor using symmetry to save some time, so anything you see me place on this side will be repeated on the opposite side. Note that when building this next triangle roof, you can place it on either the lower or upper level of the floor stack, but personally, I'd always recommend placing it on the upper one. Next, to create our tiny floor stack pixel gaps. Then demolish the top layer of the twig and upgrade all the rest. Just to remind you again, I'm still using symmetry, so anything you see on this side of the base is still being done behind me on the opposite end. And the final small addition we can add to the base is this floor stack and also a little vending machine bunker. If everything works right, you won't be able to loot it from either side, and the only way to open it is with this roof tile. Lastly, I prefer using horizontal embrasures, but if you like vertical ones, feel free to do those as well. And with that said, the base is complete. I hope you guys have a good wipe with this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.